Today, we'll explore how to use Azure Storage Mover to securely transfer data from AWS S3 to Azure Blob Storage using the cloud-to-cloud migration feature. Before beginning, you'll want to verify you have a few things in place. First, you must have an active Azure subscription with permissions to deploy Storage Mover and Azure Arc resources. Additionally, you'll need an AWS account with access to the Amazon S3 bucket that you want to migrate from. Next, you'll need an Azure Storage account to use as the destination. Begin by navigating to the Storage Mover resource in the Azure portal. You'll select Create to make a new Storage Mover. Specify your subscription and resource group, and provide details for the instance, a name, and region. Select Next to enable logs in the Monitoring tab. Select Next and add any tags. Select Next to review the details, and hit Review and Create. In the Overview pane, select the Multi-Cloud Migration tab. Then select Create Multi-Cloud Connector and open the Add AWS Connector page. In the drop-down lists, designate the project details, subscription, and resource group in which you intend to create your connector resource. Add the connector name and Azure region in the Connector Details section. Finally, select the AWS account type and enter the associated AWS account ID of the source that the connector will be moving data from. Verify all the values and click Next. This will move you to the Solutions tab. Here you'll add an inventory and storage data management solution to your connector, which allows you to discover and manage the AWS resources and enables transfer operations for Storage Mover. When adding inventory, you'll be asked to specify the permissions, to enable periodic sync, and which AWS regions you'd like to scan. Save the parameters. To add a storage data management solution, toggle by clicking Add. Verify you have the correct values entered, and select Next. The Authentication Template tab will give on-screen instructions to create the AWS Cloud Formation Stack using the AWS portal. Select Next to advance to the Tags tab. This is where you can designate tags to help identify resources based on parameters that are relevant to your organization. Select Next and ensure that all of your entered settings are correct on the Review and Create tab. Once verified, select Create to deploy your multi-cloud connector. Once complete, you'll see the Overview page for your newly created connector. Now that we've got our connector configured, we need to create a migration project and job definition. In the Storage Mover instance, select Create Project. Enter a name and description for the project, and select Create. Once the project appears in the Explorer pane, select it and then select Create Job Definition. In the Basics tab, provide a name and select Cloud to Cloud as the migration type. Hit Next to advance to the Source tab. Select Existing Endpoint in the Endpoint field. Select an existing endpoint as a source and choose the AWS S3 bucket in the pane that opens. Select Next. In the Target tab, select an existing endpoint reference in the Endpoint field, and select your targeted Azure Blob Storage endpoint. Select Next. In the Settings tab, select either Merge Content into Target or Mirror Source to Target as the copy mode, and select Next. In the Review tab, confirm your parameters are correct, and select Create to deploy the job. You'll redirect to the Explorer pane where the job appears in the associated project. Our final step is to now run the migration job. Navigate to the Migration Jobs tab. Select your newly created job and hit Start Job. The service will assign roles to the storage and blob accounts. Once complete, select Start to begin the job. You can monitor progress in the Migration Overview tab, where you can see that the data was copied successfully. Once complete, you'll be able to review logs and validate your migration.